concepts. The agenda will be variables, constants, okay, identifiers, what are identifiers in C, and we'll be learning keywords. Can you all hear me? Today it is fine for you all?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
Okay, great. I think Maheshwari, someone have joined this session today. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, guys, you have to talk to me. Otherwise, keeping quiet will not make any sense. There should be some interaction, of course, when I'm asking you to do so. Yes. Yes. Hello. Yeah, guys, can you all talk to me? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening,
Okay.
ma'am.
Good evening. Very good evening to you all. Okay.
Good evening.
So yesterday, yeah. Hope you all have enjoyed with the nice snacks today, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Well, good energy and good voice, good energy level. I liked it. Thank you. And thank you guys for joining the session for today on 13th September. Today we have agenda in front of you. We are talking about different concepts again. What are variables in detail? What are constants in detail? And what are identifiers in detail? And keywords, of course, in detail. And the data types, which is really, really important in C. So let us begin now each concepts individually. Let us talk about it. What are variables? First, so what are variables? Variables in C. Variables in C are the values which keeps changing. It's keep changing its value. We call it as variable. Okay. For example, what are the variables? Like A, M, any letters that you wish to do so. So you can give it an like star, int star. This is also variable. Okay, int R. Okay, like that. So these are all called the variables. In English, in computers terms, we call this as variables. But in English, we put it as English letters or English alphabets. Okay, so let us move on. So these are the variables. Variables in C is nothing but they are the values which keeps changing its value. We call it as variables. For example, A, B, C, D, M, N, O, P, Q, like that. Okay. Next is we are talking about constants. What are constants? Constants are nothing but in English, what does constant mean in general? It means which remains static, constant, which does not changes any position or anything. Okay, that one we call it as constant. So in the same way, in C language, in C programming language, we call constants any values, if at all, if we wanted to make it, keep it constant, keep it not to be changed at all. So in that case, we are going to make it as constants. So constants are the values which constant are the values does not which does not change at any time. Okay. So those are called constants. So next, we are talking about identifiers. What are these identifiers? Identifiers are in C is nothing but, so anything that we identify, like, it can be keywords. So what is this keyword first? Then we'll talk about identifiers. It will be quite easier for you, right? Keywords. What are keywords? Keywords in the sense, some words which is kept as a shortcut type. Okay. So in C programming language, we call keywords as, for example, the words that is constant and reserved and already been defined by our C compiler. We call it as what? Keywords or reserved words. Keywords are actually what? Those are all the reserved words. So what do you mean by reserved word? Reserved words are nothing but it is a word or it is a thing that is already been defined by our C compiler. Okay. Yesterday I spoke to you about compiler, right? What is compiler? Anyone who can answer me? Yes, please. Yeah, guys, you can go ahead with answer this question. What is the compiler?
A compiler that translates source codes to
Yes,
the machine language.
correct. See,
Yes,
that is
ma'am.
fine. But what actually it does? Compiler duty. Stay mute. I'll tell you what is the duty of compiler and what is the responsibility of compiler. The responsibility of compiler is very, very simple. It actually compiles the source code and it gives the output as a object code, which is a machine code. So machine code is nothing but it is a language or the codes generated by our computer machine that is understandable by our computer. So that one we call it as machine code or object code or machine language. Okay. So what is the language that our computer understands? Machine language, right? What is the language that I can understand? English, right? Like that. Okay. You have to be very clear and you have to think and answer when you're answering it. Okay. Right. So the words that is constant and reserved and already defined by our C compiler, we call it as keywords. Then what is this identifiers? Identifiers in the sense anything that we identify. Now you know what is variable, what is constant, right? You know what is variable, what is constant, and you know what is keywords, right? You know all this. Now tell me, identifiers is what? Identifiers in C is nothing but which identifies these keywords, constants, whether it is a constant or what, whether it is a variable or what. Okay, identifiers in C are the variables. So identify constant. Now constant is a identifier, like that. Keyword is a identifier, like that. Okay, and variable is a identifier. So all these are there in our C program while writing our own program. So all these are being made used in our writing our C language program. So these are all called identifiers. These are all called identifiers. What are all the identifiers? We have keywords, we have variables, right? We have constants, and we have what to say. We have many things. Okay. We have data types that is also been identified, you know, something that is been identified by our compiler as a keyword, as a variables, as a constants, as a data types. All these are listed and all these are all called as identifiers in C programming language. Okay, clear? Right. Next comes, okay, so next we are learning about, we know the definition of variables, right? It's something which keeps on changing, right? Hi Maheshwari, are you there? Very good evening. Hi, hello. Maheshwari, I think you have joined the session, right? Yes. Okay, now you know the variables. She will talk to me later. Fine, we'll move on with the concepts. Variables, variables are something which keeps changing. That's something which keeps varying in the sense it keeps on varying. Okay, right. Like, you know, every time the news bulletin is being presented by the news channel, you can see that every time the news keeps on, something is added there, something is varying there, right? So every time the time slot time is given, it also keeps on varying, right, with the news that is being presented by the news channel. So it keeps on, the time is varying and the news is also been varying. So here also in C language, variables are nothing but the values which keeps on changing when compiling and writing and executing our program. We call it as variables. So when we talk about variables, we have different types of variables. One is local variables, global variables, and static variables. What are all the different variables we have? We have three types of, usually this variable types, variables are classified, variables are classified into three main types. First one is local variable, second one is global variable, and static variable. Okay, so please mute. Someone is on unmute. I request them to stay mute. Someone is on unmute. Please keep it muted. Please don't disturb others who are attending the class. Okay, variables are classified into three main types. First one is the local variable, the second one is the global variables, and the final one is the static variables. So these are all the variables that we are being categorized when making use of variables in our C program. So we'll talk about what is this local variable. So what are local variable? I am talking about local variable. What are local variable? The variable which is being used inside the function block, which is used inside the function block, we call it as, that means we are locally using it every time. So that variables, that type of variables, we call it as local variables. Variable which is being used inside and made use of it locally, we call it as local variable. Then what is this global variables? Variables which are used both inside as well as outside the function block. We call it as global variable. So what are these static variables? Static variables means variables which remains static, in the sense it values does not change. Any function wanted to use the variables inside the function block or outside the function block, this static variables, what it does, once it is been initialized and declared as static variable, that variable will be static. It will never change its value. Okay, no function can change its value, and no user can change its value. So that type of variables we call it as static variables. Clear? So this is all about variables now and the types of variables. Next, we are talking about constants. So what are all these constants? As I said you, constants are nothing but what? The values which remains constant, in the sense, for example, see, you will, for example, you go out in a bike, okay? Once you come back, you will put a stand and you will make it to park. So once you go inside the house, you can see that vehicle is, do you think it is moving? No, right? That means it will remain constant there. That vehicle will be there only. It will never change its position. So that one we call it as constant. That is the general meaning of constant, the word constant. So likewise, the values and the variables that is declared you when writing the C program, it remains constant. Its value does not change. That one we call it as constants. So next thing, I'm talking about.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me, please.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
could
just
you
go ahead.
please explain about secondary constants like structure, union, enum, etc.?
Yeah, I will tell you about it. Don't worry. See, we are still in a preliminary basic thing. Okay. So we will have that in deep depth discussion. That is the final concept that you have it in C. But here you have to know the knowledge that, you know, these are all the constants. You have the structure. Okay. That's fine. That are all the types of constants. So constant types, good that you know something about C. Very good. Who is that who is talking to me now?
This side Pulkit, ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah, hello,
Pulkit,
ma'am. This
great.
side Pulkit. Pulkit.
Pulkit, good, good. Okay, these are all the constant types that we usually use in C programming. First one is structure. That is actually been referred by the keyword struct and the union, and we have enum. Okay, these are all the constant types. We usually use it when writing our C programs. Okay, so see, these are all the concepts. A little while it is called as advanced type. So when we move on to some advanced C, okay, we will definitely have to refer these types of constant types. Okay, so we will have this deep discussion further in our further upcoming sessions. For now, this is the knowledge that you should be having it. These are all the types of constants that we usually use it when writing our C program or C coding. Right? Right. You have any doubts in this? Anyone, any doubts? You can put it in a chat box. I will clarify right now.
No, ma'am. In that we don't have any doubts. Could you please explain rules for constructing the constants? Like we
See,
use basically integer constants, character, and real constants. You have explained in recently.
okay, I'll do that for you. Don't worry. Okay. Yeah, we are talking about the, see, one by one, we are going in a stepwise. See, there are people who know concepts very well. There are someone who know in intermediate level. There are who are beginners, still beginners. So my level of education has to be go up to this right from beginner level. Okay, anyone who is joining, okay, they have to know the concepts really well. So that is my intention. Fine. I was talking about, okay, let's have this. Mm. So this one has been become little small, so it has to be visible for you guys. So that's what I'm doing it. Fine. Mm. Okay, this is fine. We'll have this. Okay, little while. Okay, let us have. Okay, I was talking about it. Okay, that's the rules for writing C programming. Okay, like what are all the rules to be followed, and what are the rules to declare variables, and what are the rules in declaring constants. All that we will have more information in detail. We will have discussion about it, right? Okay. Yes. Okay. Just a moment, I'm going with it. Okay, I was talking to you about the rules to write C program. Okay, the rules to write C program. Can you all see? Can you all see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
increase the font size?
Visible.
Okay. Okay. See, I am talking about rules to write a C program. So font should be, I'll just increase it for your reference. Later it should not be a problem for you to refer. Okay. So what are all the rules to write a C program? First comes is that hash include. Okay. Hash include stdio dot h. The next comes is the main function, void main. So this is the style you have to follow, and this is a rule you have to follow, one by one. First comes is the hash include. Hash include, I'll tell you in detail what are all that. Okay. And int a and print hello. Hello. I'm just giving hello dear ones. Okay. And then finally comes is the flower bracket. Now we will have this in more detail. What is this hash include? Hash include is nothing but, see, there is also one more type of identifier which is called comments. Comments is also been identified in our C program. What is this comments? Comments means like how you do it in commenting something over online. training or something, you will have some good feedback or bad feedback or whatever it is. So comments also, when writing C program, we can use comments, means to comment something what this program is doing. Okay, so what are our comments? Comments are used to, what are comments? Comments are used to say something about your program, how the program is running, how the program you're writing, that one, some description, something you'll write. Okay, that one we call it as comments. Okay, comments in C are nothing but it is used to say something about your C program. So there are two different types of comments in C. One is single line comment, single line comments, and second one is multi-line comments. Okay, so what is this single line comment? We can use it, a symbol called slash. We call this symbol as forward slash in computers. Okay, forward slash and star. Okay, and star is used to refer and this single line comment. And what is this double slash? Double slash is a multi-line comment. See, you can use either one, any comment. You can use single line comment or multi-line comment. It depends upon you. But you should know these are ignored by our C compiler. So what are the next point? Comments are ignored. This will not be taken into account like this is a program in writing program. Comments are ignored by our C compiler. Okay, understood? So how do you write comments here? For example, this is the program now. How will you write a comment? Here, I'm writing it now to explain. Okay, I'm starting now. Okay, right. So hash include. What is this hash include? I'm writing here. This is the comment now. For example, I'm telling you hash include is what? Hash include is a preprocessor. It is a preprocessor directive used to include all standard header files in our C program. Okay, so what are all this? Okay, what is this hash include? Hash include. So you'll be knowing that, this is, when I say this is the syntax you have to follow in writing a C program. The question comes to you. Oh God, what is this hash include and what is this stdio.h and what is this void main and why this flower brace is used and what is this int a and why is this statement, all this. Okay, this is the rule that you have to follow when writing a C program. When you write your own C program, you have to follow this way. First you have to write hash symbol followed by include, which is a preprocessor directive. What is this hash include called? It is a preprocessor directive used in C. It is used in C. It is used in C program by our compiler. It is used by our C compiler. Okay, some text went down. Okay, we'll come back. Okay, it is used by us. Okay, Hash include is a preprocessor directive used in C by a C compiler to include this header file. What is this stdio.h? Stdio.h is nothing but, see, that has to be included with this angular bracket. The bracket, how it comes? Like this. Shift and shift close this symbol. Within the symbol, you have to include this header file. What is this header file? .h is nothing but .h. .h says it is a header file. So what is this std? Std is nothing but what? Stdio .h stands for standard, and std means it stands for standard. I means input, O stands for output, and .h means it is a header file, right? Okay, standard header file. So what is this stdio.h? It is very easy. It is a standard. Std stands for standard. I means it is input. O means output. .h means it is a, it says it is a header file. Okay. So next, what is this void main? Void is a data type. What is void? Void is a data type used in our C main program not to return any value. The void is nothing but, one second. Fine. What is void? Void is nothing but it is a data type used in a C main program. See, usually we use void data type void in main along with this main function, because to say please don't return any value to the main function. To say that we use void data type, and followed by we have a flower bracket. So this says it is a starting of the program, the beginning of the program. This bracket says the beginning of the program. Understood? It is easy, you have to learn. And then what is this int a? Int is nothing but, I said, you know, yesterday we have different types of data types: integer, float, right? We have, what are all the different data types? We have integer, float, right? Double, right? We have character and string. So here we are using which data type? Integer data type. How do you declare integer data type? By using a keyword called int, integer, space, a. What is a here? Again, what is a? A is a variable. So this variable a uses a value which is of integer data type. Correct? Okay. And then what is this? What is this printf? Printf is nothing but it is a print function. Print function. Printf in the sense to print function. Printf. F means function. Printf is the function used to display output on our computer screen. Okay, so that is what. So here you can see I'm using this symbol, right? This symbol is what? I'm writing a comment here. So to write a comment, we use this symbol. Okay, to make our program, to make this my program explanatory, to make our program to explain someone, if at all if he does not know anything about C, so to make our program little explanatory, we are going to write comment using this symbol and make that we will start explaining it. Okay, so comments are ignored by our C compiler. This will be ignored by C compiler, but only program whatever we have written here, hash include, all these stuffs will be considered, and that will be compiled, and that will be known by our C compiler that this is the C coding and this is the C programming that I have to take it and consider it as a C program codes, and it will start to compile and execute and give the output. Okay, so these are all the rules that you have to write and you have to follow while writing your C program. Next comes data types. So as I said yesterday, we have different types of data types. One is integer. So what actually data types are? Anyone can answer? The type of value that a variable holds, we call it as data types. Understood? So these are nothing but data types. So next, what are all the different data types we have? We have integer, we have float, we have double, we have character, we have char data type, string, float, double, character, string, and we have what to say, we have, so these are all the data types that we are going to use it for, to refer it as a data types. So how do you say that variable is how do you say that integer data type is used in a C programming? By using int keyword. And then float, you have to use it float, and double you have to use it double, and character you have to use it character, and string you have to use it a keyword called string only. So what is string and what is this character? Character in computer terms, we call it as a letter, we call it as a letter. A letter, we call it as character. Okay,
Ma'am,
a letter we call it as
character can be a single digit
character.
also, or symbol,
Okay,
special
we call it as
symbol.
character. In yes, that one also we call it as character. But generally, in English terms, if you say alphabet, that is not used. You cannot use it as a alphabets or letters or whatever it is, but you have to refer it as a character. Character can be special symbol also. It can be any other symbol also. Okay, it can be numbers also, if at all, if it is given in a double quotes like this. Okay, so see, when you say it can be used as a special symbol, when you say that special symbol as a character, you have to use it in the way that compiler should understand that it is a character, that you are declaring it as a character. Okay, then it comes string. What is string? Collection of characters, we call it as string. A collection of characters, a collection of characters in the sense, it is a group of characters, we call it as right, but something values which are decimal values. Okay, values which have decimal values, like 10.1, for example, 10.1, 10.9, or 7.8, like that. So these are all. So whenever we wanted to use this type of values, we have to make it as float data type. So integer in the sense int a, like we can use it value like 10,000. Understood all these concepts you are getting, no? Hello, everybody understood, na? Next comes,
Yes, ma'am.
how do you declare? How do you declare? How do you declare? How do you declare a variable or declaration of variable? How do you declare? First comes, you have to write the data type. The syntax to declare variable is, first comes is the data type.
Excuse me,
Okay.
ma'am. Before moving forward to variables, could you please explain rules for constructing character constants and real constant?
Yeah, okay. I will come to you later, but I will explain it to you. Don't worry. Data type, variable name, and this is the syntax that you have to follow while declaring a variable. First comes is the data type and the variable name. How do you do it? First is the int and then variable name. What is this int? Int is a data type, right? And what is this a? A is a variable name, correct? So this is the way, and this is the syntax that you have to follow when declaring a variable in C program. Okay, and then, so what are all the rules that you have to follow? Variable. This is very easy and simple. You have to remember. First comes variable can be characters, special symbol, it can be special symbols. Okay, it can be special symbols. It can be, okay, like this. And variables should not have white space. White space in the sense, no space is allowed in between. That is the rule of declaring variable. And then variables, for example, like it can be characters in the sense int, character a, For example, you can declare it this way. For example, carry a, okay, and the special symbol is, char. You can also use it this way, but you should be very careful while declaring the symbol. Okay, some errors we will get it. Okay, and variables should not have white space. For example, hello world is what? Hello world is what? It is one variable. Here, if you give space between, then it is considered as two strings. Okay, two strings, separate. So that is not allowed here. You have to make it a point that you have to declare it as a string and then use it. Okay, so like that. Okay, so that is all about today's. The same thing follows for constants also. Constants has to be declared with the keyword called const. Okay, int a, like this. Okay, this is the way that you declare your constant with the keyword constant and integer and the variable. Okay, and here you can pass in values if you wanted, but once it is declared constant, it has to be constant only. It remains constant, it will never change. Okay, so like that. So what are all the rules for constant? The same thing. You can use you should not have white spaces, and you should not include that with other directly like that. This is not allowed. Int a is not allowed. When you say it is a constant, it has to be followed with this keyword const int a. Okay, then next comes, I was talking about see, don't just mess it up with the information. Know the information, have a knowledge, and please don't get confused knowing all the concepts one to one like that. Okay, help yourself so that you will understand the concepts really very well. That is very important when coding. Okay, that is all about today's session, and if you have any doubts, you can put it in the box, and don't interrupt class in between throwing doubts and all. You can professionally put that doubt in a chat box so that I will read the chat questions and I will just clarify it. Okay, that is how we go it. Okay, and somewhere sometime the track of explanation we will get interrupted, and some students will get interrupted with the track of explanation that I am giving them. Okay, please don't do that. It is really not good. Okay, they'll be focusing and concentrating really well, and someone is throwing the doubt, they will that will actually stop their
Your voice is breaking. Excuse me, ma'am. Voice is breaking.
information from my side to their side. Okay, don't do that. You can just come into this chat box and put in the questions, whatever you have.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I didn't find where is a chat box option. This is not showing anywhere. Hello.